Okay, so like real brief before we start this thing, this is going to be kind of a different sort of vlog type thing than some of the other ones. It's going to be a lot longer, and it's also a little bit less travel log focused, a little bit less, crazy running around a city making movie kind of shit. It's going to be a little bit more in depth on each individual interview that we talked about. We're going to talk about some of our, interview methods. We're going to use a lot of excerpts from the interviews to sort of go in depth on some of the things that we're going to be addressing in the film. Keep in mind that things like color correction, sound mixing, and things like that are not final. So if you're looking at it and you're like, why does that look all yellow and shitty? It's because it's not done yet. But yeah, I figure if you'll watch a 20-minute long vlog about this movie, you'll probably want to watch a 40-minute long one about this. I figure the people that like this kind of shit, the diehards, this is kind of what you want. So I hope you guys like this, and if this is kind of what you're into, we'll try to make more these style kind of things more in the future.
Alright, we're doing a vlog. Don't say words, I guess. Hi, we went to Texas. Texas kind of sucked.
You can't just
shame
a whole state.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. LTC 5 was really fucking cool. The weather in Texas is awful. The area is a shithole. The weather is bad.
Yeah, not a fan of the weather.
Yeah.
Really not. People there are great though.
Yes.
It's always fun seeing Texas people.
Yeah, I like Texas Project M. Those guys are alright.
Thursday morning, we got up and we went to IAP, which is the local over in DFW, and there were a few people there we actually ended up talking to. First of which was Arsenal.
I come from League of Legends. I'm playing in my bedroom in my underwear, and then I go in and there's hundreds of people. There's a bunch of vendors. There's retro games and stuff. It was sick.
He's a TO for like the DFW area. He runs the Texas Project M circuit, and it's interesting to talk to him because he sort of got into the game after all of this shit went down. Like, he started playing, started TOing, and getting really involved, like, post the development team disbanding.
Because I hear all these horror stories about 3.02, and I'm just like, how the hell did y'all let this in the game? This is so blatantly obvious that this is bad.
And being a TO with that is kind of interesting, because it's like, why do you do this? Like, what compelled you to get into this game now, and like how did you sort of like become a community leader after the fact, and what do you try to do to like make Project M keep happening in the year of our Lord 2017?
Our weeklies are down to 15 to 30 now, which is sad, but the passion's still here, and the people who are still here are all great. We're all really close. Go to food almost every weekly. Occasionally we'll plan like bowling or some shit like that. It's super nice.
Tell them about Swanner.
Swanner is like a low-key, like hidden gem. People don't appreciate their TOs as much.
I fucking love Swanner, dude.
Swanner's like,
he's the best.
He's one of those TOs that's just been around, he's seen some shit, been in the trenches, he's just exhausted all the time.
Obviously, there were a bunch of people that were like, oh, it's over, like, no more PM, like, I was like, nah. I literally didn't listen to them. I was like, fuck this. We're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep running tournaments, we're gonna get this scene together, we're gonna get their ass in gear, and we're gonna fucking do it.
He's a very passionate guy.
Yeah.
Very, very loving of Project M, his local scene, the national scene. He runs the entire Midwest circuit. He basically runs the Chicago PM area.
It's so hard to describe like my fucking like passion in words, because it's like, it's undescribable,
He fucking bleeds PM.
He bleeds PM,
yeah.
and like I'm pretty sure quite literally he's bled PM.
Probably.
Or at least gone somewhat mentally insane because of it.
If you're a TO, you've probably like physically bled for Project M at some point in your life. He was also just funny as shit.
I think of Sakurai sitting in a room by himself, maybe drinking green tea, saying, those jerks. How could they do this to me? How could they do this to my game?
Like, super deadpan the whole time.
Dry ass.
Yeah, super dry. He actually housed with us at the place we were staying at, which was like Adrian's dad's empty house that we just like filled up with a bunch of nerds. And yeah, we get to hang out with him a lot, and I fucking love that kid. He's great.
After that, I was we're in the venue. I'm shooting some B-roll of the venue. This guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? My name's Sol Harak. I love the fact that you guys are making the movie, yada yada yada." And he was like, "Oh, you know, if you need someone to talk to, like, I've been around for a while." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, guy." It turned out that this dude is like ancient in PM history. This dude's been playing since like the first version of the game.
When Project M came around, I actually fought it. I was like, Brawl Plus, Brawl Plus, Brawl Plus. Played Project M on day one. I'm like, this is awesome. So look at Sonic. Look at this forward smash. Kills at 30% now.
So we sat him down, we went outside, we did his interview, and it was fucking great.
Tripping is the worst thing in the world, all right? This is the quintessential way to make your game sad.
Sleeper hit for sure.
We didn't see it coming at all, but we're really happy we got it because he had a lot to say. Passionate ass motherfucker in this game.
He's a fucking storyteller, man.
PM was there, Melee was there, Smash 4 3DS was there, and the 3DS let people kind of play their matches in between other matches all the time. No one really had that much of an issue with it. And we figured since that month had passed and Nintendo had still made no moves towards Project M, and then the Wii U version came out, and that's when the rumors started.
There are certain people that you talk to where, like, I'll be trying to take notes and kind of timestamp things and keep up, and eventually you just kind of stop taking notes. And it's like, I'm just gonna use all this. I'm gonna use pretty much every second of this interview, so like I'm just gonna stop.
And the Project M team, which wasn't exactly known for being loose-lipped, was very, very tight-lipped. And things got scary.
It's interesting talking to people who come from, so he's from Michigan, and Michigan PM went through some shit. Like a lot of the, sort of Midwest regions, like the non-big coastal cities, did not recover from everything going to shit the way that like SoCal did or like New York did. They have a very different kind of perspective on it, and that's something that I really want to make sure that we include.
I don't care that I have to drive here. I got Smash in the back of my car. I'll go anywhere. And that's what all this has really meant to me, and, Brawl never let me do that. I was never going to do that for Melee. But Project M got me here, and all because they gave me a taunt cancel.
Man, that was it for IB.
Yeah, we ended up just chilling around.
We went to a Denny's, I think, afterward.
IHOP.
Yeah. Oh, it was an IHOP, which is really just more expensive Denny's.
Next day, wake up, we go to Lunchable's house, and he was having a party with everyone coming through. We decided to get there earlier so we could go ahead and interview him.
I think I played Brawl for about 3 months, I'd say, and eventually realized that Melee existed, so I started moving on to that, because even little 11-year-old me could tell that Melee was more interesting than Brawl.
Lunchables, you might know, a high-level player, one of the best that's ever done it. Also an ex-developer.
A lot of the developers were kind of like me, where they're just people. They're not lawyers. They don't know the exact repercussions of everything that's going to happen. They can't tell if what they're doing is legal or not. So we just kind of went with the flow until we thought it wasn't safe.
Lunchables is a really interesting case because obviously he's been in the scene for a really long time. He started playing PM when he was like fucking 14. He joined the development team like 2 or 3 months before they shut down. And it fucked him up really hard.
A lot of people use Project M as an escape. It was their game to have fun with. It was the one Smash game that made sense to them. It's the Smash game that brought them into Smash. It was an entire home. It was a community. It was everything about their entire life. And reading the letter to be told to stop that I just read, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do. I spent countless hours crying. I still to this day, I have like nightmares and cry about what I've lost. And it goes back to how in 3.0 I didn't know to appreciate what I had.
He really like just poured his heart out for us. It was just very honest, and that kid is hilarious.
Because I mean, I fucking hung around college kids when I was like 14 or whatever, so like my entire personality changed, and I'd probably be a worse person without Project M. As weird as it sounds, that a fucking video game with a bunch of nerds deciding to make it more competitive, whatever that even means, changed my life. It made me who I am, and without it, I don't know. I might not even be here.
He's fucking 17 and he's better at Smash than you're ever gonna be. Like, he's fucking amazing.
And then we did Oracle's interview. Oracle, you might recognize him as, I don't know if you heard, he actually got top 8 at Apex.
It's true, he did.
2014.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apex was great because I got top 8 at it. Skatar didn't happen because I got 17th. It's not super notable that I got top 8. Other than that, it was the biggest PM tournament for a long time, and I got to brag to everybody that I got top 8 at the biggest PM tournament of all time. Bragging like I'm bragging right now that I got top 8 at the biggest PM tournament.
He also got second at Paragon, the largest Project M tournament of all time, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the biggest PM tournament of all time that I got second at? So I got top 8 at the 2 biggest PM tournaments of all time? Yeah, let's talk about that event. I love talking about that event, except for grand finals. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, so that was fun. He's like a dad, and I love that. Like,
He just looks at this like a dad. Look
yeah.
at this shot. Look how dad.
we did kind of dad it up with that shot. Like, we were like, because the room we were in had a lot of like yellow lighting in it, and there was that lamp in the background. And it's just like, all right, this is just like his study where he sits and watches VODs and figures out how to crush nerds.
He actually beat me because I was good, but I was really stupid. So I played him round 2. I didn't know that as Rob, I thought if you just back through a space animal and forward aired them, they would die. And I didn't know you could get around that. So I backed through him once, he gets around it, and my mind was just shattered. What? It's like, you can beat that? This sucks.
He's been playing at a high top level since like around the time the game started getting big.
Yeah.
Maybe a little before that. Just so wise. He had a lot of input in terms of a lot of the streaming bullshit that happened with Tony Locator, and he was around, when basically shit hit the fan.
Can you talk a little bit about in the similar situation with T-Lock? What happened?
Well, your voice got really awkward, like it's about to get awkward talking about how my company dropped Project M.
He gave us basically a bunch of insight on what was going on there in comparison to a bunch of the other streamers.
For Smash in general, but like especially Project M back then, like it was like CT and T-Lock and then VGBC on top. All of them handled the shit getting fucked up with Twitch situation very, very differently.
At the time it was like, if we do this, no one will care about Texas Smash ever again. It's like, I love Project M more than anything, but I also love Melee, and I love Smash 4 begrudgingly. It's okay, not my favorite. But, I need to do what's best for this company, and I need to do what's best for Smash as a whole. And, fighting Twitch and fighting Nintendo is going to get me nowhere.
And then there was just a party.
It was a great party.
I didn't shoot any vlogs at the party, which was I didn't shoot a lot of like travel vlogs for LTC in general, just because like, oh, that's Texas. I just forgot, probably.
Next day, got ready for LTC Day 1.
So LTC is a low-tier city. People should go to low-tier city. The whole thing is hosted at a gaming convention. They have a fucking tournament for every fucking game that you can play on a CRT that you could possibly want. Tons of crazy booths with people selling old arcade shit, and they have like a whole area with all these arcade cabinets. And then they got a big-ass fucking PM tournament. And Melee and Smash 4. So we didn't watch a lot of the event. That's kind of what happened since we're interviewing the whole time and we miss everything. But there was one set that we did make sure to watch.
Oh, God. Round 2 of Fresh versus Sosa. Basically, all you need to know about that set, only thing you need to know, is this clip right here.
Try the platform, Sosa! It worked out in the beginning! Dumbass! You can walk on the side from the side! It's not! It's not! Mo, top 8, man. Stop playing with me, man. Let's go! I am fucking Williams. I am in the building.
That's all you need to know.
Fucking bag season.
So in terms of interviews, the first one we got was Standard Toaster.
Oh yeah. Who's Standard Toaster, Adrian?
Standard Toaster is a legend. If you don't know him, you need to go and find him on Twitter or Facebook and follow his ass. He is a ex-developer. He joined at a very young age and actually, learned a lot about, programming through the project.
It's tough explaining to your parent, what exactly is a tournament, because they just think it's just a bunch of sweaty nerds playing games. Why you gotta pay money to go do that.
He was the quote-unquote quality of life guy. He put in a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily detrimental to making a great game, but you're fucking glad he did what he did.
And so I would say the whole Wizards thing is basically anybody who did one of the huge kind of bullet points that we had on our our to-do list that everybody was like, when is this gonna get done? When is this gonna get done? And all the things that I did are for the most part, not on anybody's minds when they say, oh, when is this going to be done? Because most of my stuff was just kind of quality of life fixes.
He is the reason that the victory screen you see in LCAN's success rate, when your tag resets at the end of a set or a match, that's him. He made that. Setting a button to do nothing.
Setting any button you want to do footstool.
Yeah, so we talked to him. He gave us another really fantastic interview. Very emotional towards the end.
I just kind of like, when we get to the shutdown segment, especially with the developers, I just like stop taking notes and it's just like, all right, dude, let's talk about some sad shit. Tell me about the death of Project M. It's fucking effective, man.
I could not even make it like a quarter of the way through that letter without bursting into tears because all the effort I had done. And to see, all that effort and work, just, that's it. It's over. Like, you didn't even actually, you don't get a final say to say, I like this. This is where, the game is shaping up. This is where I wanted it to be. This is the final release. We didn't even get a chance to do that. It was just, whatever you did, that's it. You're done. And so that was just devastating.
He hasn't been involved in Smash in like a year and a half. And he messaged, as soon as the trailer went up, he messaged me on Facebook and he was like, yo, how do I be in the movie? I helped make Project M. And I was like, well, we're going to this tournament and this tournament and this tournament. And he was like, well, I could maybe go to Texas. And then a day later, he's like, yeah, I booked my flight, I'm coming to Texas. And he got a hotel and came all the way out there just to be interviewed for the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And he told us that it was the best weekend of his life and that it was worth every penny.
Oh, yeah.
Cephalon.
Cephalon.
Okay, so Cephalon is a long time Smash community member. Started as a competitive Roy main in 2006 or something.
I'm coming from a Melee Roy player. And you just don't see Melee Roy because he's an awful character. I wouldn't want you to play as Roy. It's a bad experience. And I remember snapping a picture at one point in time of two setups right next to each other, with both of them had Roy players on it. And for me, I was there's not just one but two of them. This is so cool. And he's actually a functional character that can do things.
Helped to design Roy in Project M.
So GH Nico was actually one of the people who pushed super hard for me to he was like, hey Cephalon, you should join the PM dev team. And I was like, you think so? That'd be work? He's like, yes, you should do it. And I was like, okay, I guess I will. And then I came in and then oh, by the way, here's Roy. And I was like, right, that's why. Okay, this is why.
He pulled zero punches. He was 100% willing to just be like, this is bullshit, this was bullshit, here's what happened.
One final time, PM dev, thank you for playing.
How do you feel about that?
I despise that message because it's a giant crock of bullshit.
I don't know. When we finished that, I felt very satisfied with what we had. I was like, I could go make the movie right now. I'm not going to, because with what I have, I could make a great movie, and with the stuff I'm going to get, I can make an incredible movie. But I could make it right now because Cephalon just laid it out on the fucking table. And then we talked. Ooh, who's Kateri? Who's Katerist?
Katerist is my fucking hero. So Kateri.
I know she's watching this.
She runs all the events around the Albuquerque area, especially their big event every year, Salty Wands. Great tournament. Go to it. Big fan. She gave a really interesting perspective as someone who came in a little more recently, and just kind of dealt with everything, especially coming from a scene that wasn't as big as some of the larger scenes.
Yeah.
She kind of just helped keep it afloat.
Honestly, I feel like esports is politics for Smash. It's basically how can we suck the fun out of the community and turn them sterile? And that's what esports is to me.
Her first big national was Paragon 2015. And 2 months after Paragon 2015 is when Project M got shut down. It's interesting talking to her because she kind of started getting really into TOing after that happened. So she kind of had the perspective of oh fuck, we gotta start kicking ass. We can't be sitting around on our asses waiting for things to get better. If we want tournaments, we have to do it ourselves.
I kind of had to turn into a supportive person and be like, look, it's gonna be fine. Project M's not gonna die just because it stopped being developed. So I kind of had to take more of a hand-holding role and be like, it's gonna be okay, guys. Nothing's gonna change. There's still gonna be tournaments, and try to encourage the idea that stopping development means that the meta can evolve, and that we will now see a new meta of Project M instead of having to be reset every time an update happened.
Oh, yeah, Malachi.
Malachi was funny. If you've seen from our last vlog, we tried to get Malachi in Long Island, but he just ended up not coming through, quote unquote dead.
Yeah.
He ended up being at this tournament, and we decided to catch him when he was free, and he gave us a very brief but funny interview.
Yeah, like, Malachi has like 2 sentences to say about everything, but they're 2 really good sentences.
Yeah.
Skate Tour is actually funny because the first tournament I went to, I actually met Emu Killer, and I was like, we talked a little bit, and I was like, this guy's kind of a dick. And I was like, he's probably not even that good anyway. This is like a local. And then I watched Skate Tour like 2 weeks later, and then I see that Emu like won a national, and I was like, what?
It's like the Mike Tyson of Project M.
Yeah.
He's like this big, scary, beefy dude with this like kind of like higher pitched voice that like talks a lot of shit.
Sosa, he's SoCal #1. He's like, he's just Sosa. He's like a big, cocky douchebag. I shat on Ripple, and he like complained during the set, and it was really funny. Venom is the SoCal Falcon who probably has the biggest yet frailest ego of all time. It's like Venom's, Venom's dick is so small sometimes. Just like online, I'm just like, Venom, chill.
Great guy. Also, he's a koala, which is cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how he plays with those tiny hands.
Yeah, we like to get a lot of diversity.
Yeah, that's true.
We're trying to,
You know me.
Quality. So, at the end of the night, we decided to go hang out with some friends, get some drinks, and it was
magical, I would say.
It was great. Yeah, we went to this gay bar, it was great, and they had these slushy drinks were fantastic. We were up on a balcony, they had a basketball court.
We were like sitting up on the roof, having like a Project M Illuminati meeting up there and just revealing horrible secrets to each other.
So that was that night. Got up
Sunday.
Got breakfast. I got mistaken for a Cloud9 person. We got to
by someone who wasn't at the convention, too.
No, not even someone that knew that the convention was going on. We got to the venue, and I think the first one we knocked out was Neptune.
I've had my family tell me I'm stupid for going week after week after week to cast for this broken game that's made by fans that it's never going to take you anywhere in life. Why? Because I love it. Because I think it's the best shit in the world.
Longtime commentator. Commentators are great for interviews. They have so much to say. They're very punctual.
Yeah, they're articulate.
They have so much, like...
They're uncomfortable being in front of a camera, which is something that some, you talk to programmers and such, Smash players, they're not so as comfortable being on camera. Commentators, TOs, they don't give a fuck. They're, they're right on it.
They've already seen some shit.
Yeah, they've already seen the shit.
Limelight. I think he got into like professional commentating and whatnot through Project M from the start.
A couple months ago, I casted for Blizzard with their Asia Pacific qualifier in front of 50,000, 60,000 people. I worked with tons of companies from between Blizzard, Gearbox. I'm so fortunate. I'm really fortunate. And it all started with PM. It all started with Thursday night.
And so he told us his story. He told us, a lot of the insight again as someone who was involved with a lot of the attorney locator stuff. He gave us a lot of input on that.
Paragon was, I think, the big moment where it was, the word comes from on high, this needs to change now, hours before the stream goes live. And it's me in the hotel room with the rest of the staff, and I go into commander mode. I remember that moment of shit.
And Vanessa, who we just interviewed right after Neptune, he was like a huge sleeper hit again. Like we hadn't even had him on our list of people that we were gonna get, but people just kept mentioning him as somebody that we needed to talk to. Like I had heard of him, I knew his name, but I hadn't really met him and I didn't really know who he was. He was just fantastic.
You've played Melee, and only Melee, for 10 years, where there's that combo ability, that speed, that fast-paced nature, and you've been watching, at that point, even less viable characters than they are now, like watching 7 characters do it over and over and over again. And then you get this treat of Apex, top 8 or top 32, and it's all just completely different stuff. And it just felt like having a blowout tournament for a sequel to your favorite game, and the sequel is like unbelievable beyond like your comprehension and imagination.
So yeah, so he also talked a lot about being on the Salt Mines, which was a podcast that was really popular in like the 3.5, 3.0 era. That was him and Messi, who we interviewed in New York. Junebug was on it quite often. Paulo Ali also as well. When we talked to Messi and Junebug, they sort of talked about how there was a dispute between the Salt Mines guys over what they were going to do when, you know, they were starting to hear wind that doing PM stuff on Twitch was not going to be working out for very much longer. And there was a debate over whether or not to tell people. And Junebug and Messi disagreed pretty strongly on that. The Nizza disagreed with Messi pretty strongly on that.
Messi really felt like it would create a lot of community panic if we went public, that basically Twitch didn't want us, that it would make the community implode, and that we wouldn't survive it. I kind of wanted the community to be on the same page because I thought we needed to know what we were up against in order to survive what was incoming.
There's certain people where you have to kind of like try to pry answers out of them and sort of like lead them to where you're trying to get them to talk about. And then there's other people where it's just like, tell me about Apex, boom, got everything. Cool. Tell me about Skatar, boom, got everything. Tell me about Paragon, boom, got everything. Tell me about Salt Mines, boom, got everything.
Imagine 12 hours before your biggest tournament, you announce that you're changing platforms and require everyone to create a new account on a new website that no one has ever used to go see this event that's been advertised everywhere for weeks and weeks. It was clear something was fucked. Like, it was clear something was fucked.
Let's talk about Luck first. There was an interview between Nizza and Luck, but we'll do Luck first.
Old school ass PM player, huge Diddy Kong fanatic, especially 3.02 Diddy Kong, and we had him explain, well, basically what was the deal with 3.02 Diddy Kong. Because a lot of people talk about 3.2 Diddy Kong. The big thing they talk about is, you know, the 2 bananas. So we really needed someone to explain what that meant.
What do people mean when they say 2 bananas is busted? Like, if you don't play Smash, that's like a nonsense phrase.
2 bananas is literally my favorite thing about Super Smash Brothers. In any form or context, it's the best. The thing is, it was a little unfair, and by a little I mean a lot unfair. So you have a banana in hand, you have a banana in front of you, they trip you when you're in shield, they trip you when you're on the ground. It's rough. And the fact is, if someone has 2 items, you have none, it really deteriorates the amount of interactions you actually have to be involved in. And so it was just too good. If I still had 2 bananas to this day, I don't know who could beat me, basically. I'll put it that way.
We are very good friends with Luck. We hung out with Luck every chance we could possibly get at tournaments.
Huge fan.
Yeah, huge fan. He's sick at Smash as well. And so it was just kind of one of those interviews where it's like, all right, I know this guy. We're just going to talk about Smash a little bit. Like, I'm not going to take notes. We're not going to do it too serious. Like, let's just shoot the shit about Smash.
What's your name? What's your tag? What do you do for Smash?
Name, tag, and Smash? Yeah. Okay, my name is Michael Provencal. My tag is Luck, and I play Diddy Kong. Yeah.
What game do you play?
I play Project M.
What's Project M?
It's great.
What is it?
It is a crazy, beautiful mod of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I love it.
He is from Texas, and Texas is a scene that had a lot of developers that were also part of the community, and that affected them deeply when the shutdown happened, because a lot of the devs like dipped out.
You know, my favorite players in the world, some of them had stopped playing due to, you know, they needed these things to be corrected, and it was literally going to be corrected, and then not so much. And it's, you know, obviously tragic.
So that was really good. You want to tell them about the how we got that other interview we got on Sunday?
You guys might remember Dan, aka Chimera, from our last vlog. The guy who housed us during our trips in Supernova.
He showed me his effects reel, his animation reel, and I was like, oh my god, okay, no, you're gonna do the movie now. So he's now doing like a full graphics package for the film. We're like, well, how do you want to get paid? And he's like, I want to go to LTC. I'm like, let's fucking do it.
Done.
And then that paid off really well for us.
So while we were filming Seth Bond's interview, I get a message from him saying, hey, Zero said yes. Do you guys want to interview him?
Yeah, and it's like, of fucking course we want
It's
to.
like, what the fuck?
And I was like, what did you tell him? And he said like, well, I asked him if he could do an interview tomorrow, and if he can talk about Product M. And I was like, he gets it. This kid understands. Okay.
We clearly had a lot of people who we just figured wouldn't do it. You know, we were planning on asking them at some point just to get a note to our faces. You know, we figured he wouldn't do it just because this guy, you know, is the best Smash 4 player in the world, formerly, you know, the best PM player in the world, and we figured, you know, he's kind of made it big now. Maybe doesn't want to talk about this thing that's kind of in an illegal gray area.
What's that, illegal gray area? Hello? We were waiting after Smash 4 top 8 finish, and we're like standing by the commentary desk waiting for Zero to finish his post-game interview. And I'm like, kind of antsy. I'm like, all right, we need to get everything set up. We need to be super ready. Like, this guy's not going to want to talk to us for very long. We're going to grab him. We're going to, you know, get him for 5 minutes. He'll talk shit about PM, and then he'll leave. And that didn't happen at all. Well, he asked me, like, well, you know, how long is this going to take? And I was like, oh, like 5 to 10 minutes. And he's like, well, I can talk about Product M for way longer than 5 to 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, shit, this motherfucker came to fucking play.
In your opinion, who was the most broken character in 3.0?
Mewtwo. I don't care what Mewtwo says. Mewtwo. It was Mewtwo. Maybe Pape was second and third, whatever. It doesn't matter. But like, Mewtwo broke the game. Broke the loss of the game. My man. Will. All right, listen. People. All right. In Project M, a big deal was to edge guard people, right? Everyone got edge guarded. Pig got edge guarded. Fox got edge guarded. Peach got. Everybody got edge guarded. Mewtwo did not care. He did not care because he can teleport through walls. He has a teleport, so you can't edge guard it at all. And if you grab the ledge and he teleports, he just goes on the ground and he has no lag. So it's like there's no way to edge guard him at all. So you'll be able to like you can do anything you want. So it's like a character that doesn't get edge guarded. You know, he was floaty, so you couldn't combo him well either. You know, it was too much. Oh, here's the best part. I remember Forder. He had a frame 5 Forder. It was frame 5, right? Yeah, I think it was frame 5. Okay, and every time you combo him, he would just swing at you in the middle of the combo. You're just like, if I was comboing Fox, he's dead.
It was fucking great. He gave us like 30 minutes of his history with Project M and his history with Brawl and sort of that transition and like being the best Project M player in the world, trying to be the best Project M player in the world.
Eventually, I started going to like tournaments, and because I wanted to make a living off Smash, Brawl just wasn't the thing to play anymore. Locals will get like 5 people with good luck. There were no pop bonuses, no sponsorships, no nothing. The main meal was Melee, and then Project M was so popular that it would even get more entrants than Melee tournaments in Melee-centric regions. So it's just like, oh, Project M is like becoming like something really relevant really quick. So I made the decision to like stop playing Brawl. Only at tournaments I will play it, but not like in practice. I started playing a lot of Project M and a lot of Melee because I was like, okay, the mechanics are very similar, at least the tech skill wise. So I was like, it wouldn't feel like I'm like wasting my time if I'm doing like Melee tech skill with Fox and then transfer over to like PM. It didn't feel bad. The switch felt really nice.
You know, that's the thing is like that makes him different from like a lot of the other like Melee Brawl's top players who were playing Project M at the time. Like they were just kind of doing well because they're good at Smash. But like Zero was like, I'm gonna be the best at this. I'm gonna beat everybody. And then did that.
I was just winning. There was a point where I just wasn't losing at all. I think I lost like, after I got good, I only lost like 1 tournament. Won like the big 3 majors that year, which were like Big House, Zenith, and CEO. I was like really proud of that.
He was super fucking nice, super funny. He even like hung around with us a bit afterwards and just like talked about Smash. Like it was really good. It was awesome. I'm really glad we got it. I didn't think that would ever happen. Shout outs to Dan.
You know, I played PM when it was like the big thing, and then when it started dropping down, you know, or I predicted it would drop down because it was like at its peak when I dropped. You know, I was just like, something's gonna happen. You know, this is getting too popular. You know, something's gonna happen. So that's how I felt, and eventually something happened.
And then what did we do?
We ended the night by going home.
Oh, we went to Smashburger.
Oh, right. Okay, well, briefly about Smashburger. Poor motherfuckers.
Poor girl. That poor girl.
Literally like 2 people working at the Smashburger, and we get like 50-something nerds from the tournament to come through and just bombard them with a bunch of bullshit.
They finally get all the nerds out, and Adrian and I are like packing up our shit. We're like the last ones out of the room. And we go outside, and like Wax Money and Thunder's Rain and like a bunch of other nerds are like have their shirt on and are like wrestling each other in the rain outside.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like this really weird, like, oh man, Project M community, man. Like stuff like that is so crazy because it's like, wow, there's like 50 people at this like post-tourney like food run, and I know all of them.
You know, a lot of people get sad on, you know, the misfortunes of being a PM player, but like a lot of people in the other games don't really get to have that.
Yeah.
And that's like really sick.
Yeah.
It's really
Melee players talk about like, you know, the grassroots.
the good old days.
Yeah, oh man, I miss when we were, you know, I miss that shit. But like, dude, the grassroots dream is alive in Project M, man.
We got home, we got really drunk, and we decided to do Fresh's interview, because Fresh was also housing with us.
Yeah.
Messiah Williams.
Best ice climbers to ever do it in Project M.
By far.
Bag season.
Bag season.
Bag season.
Bag season.
He was so drunk.
He was wasted.
He did, like, he said a lot.
I was shocked because of the fact that I was getting really good at the game, and the game was getting to a level of where it really needed to be, and then you just get this notice at your front door, like, we kicking you the fuck out. That actually sucked.
You know, there's a lot of rambling, but there was also a lot of, like, just when he was
going off.
Yeah, when he was going off, it's like, oh,
He was going
man,
off.
this guy has a lot to say.
Now you have the top 10 players getting upsetted by the bottom 30 players of the top 50. It's crazy now. We got the top players getting 25th. You never know what's going to happen at these nationals now. Back then you knew, the top 3 players, the top 5 players, but now you kind of don't know, like there's always a toss up. There's always you could put 2, 3 people, but the 4th and 5th you don't know. And I think that's what makes the game keep going, man. It's not standardized. It's not the same people every single time. It's usually somebody different that you're gonna see in that top 10 bracket, man, and you can't sleep on that person the next tournament comes around.
There's another one where it's just like, all right, me and Messiah are homies, like, he's drunk, I'm drunk, let's just talk about Smash, like, and sometimes you get, like, some of the best interviews you get is that kind of stuff, because people are just more honest, and I like that a lot. That's kind of it for LTC.
Pretty much. After that, we flew straight home, back in California right now. Just had a few days of prep for our next journey, which we're going on today.
Yeah, so we're leaving in, like, what, an hour?
I don't know. We're leaving
Couple
soon.
hours,
We're going to make our trek up the coast to get up to Seattle, because we have a few people we have to get up there, especially developer Shattuck.
Shattuck is like a long time Project M development team, like super, like hardcore Project M Illuminati type guy. Actually messaged me on Reddit because he saw the trailer on like r/games or something, because he's one of those devs that just like disappeared. And he was like, yo, I'm in PM, how do I help? And I was like, well, we're going to a bunch of tournaments, but none of them are in Washington. So we were talking about this on the way back from a tournament with one of our roommates, and she was just like, I'll fucking drive up to Seattle. So we're going to Seattle. There are going to be probably at least 100 people in this movie. We've already interviewed about 80-something. We might hit 100 or nearly 100 people interviewed for the film, which is insane. And we did all that in like 2 or 3 months. Yeah, after that, just like time to start working, like grind. I'm gonna fucking live at school in the fucking editing bay. Never gonna leave. It's gonna be great. They got air conditioning. It was so fucking awesome how many people came up to me like during LTC and just like thanked me for working on the documentary and like told me how excited they were and just like, just thanked us for doing what we do, and that was fucking amazing. Like, that's so cool.
It makes it worth it. It makes it so worth it to know that people actually give a shit.
Yeah.
Every single time a person tells us that, like, I feel even more set to like, all right, we need to make this shit happen.
This shit is definitely happening.
And we're excited. So please, if you see us, give us more shout outs. Give us shout outs on any social media. Come say hi. We have like 13 seconds left. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna fucking knock this shit out of the park. Wish us luck in Washington. We love you all.
Washington vlog will also happen.